Welcome to this demonstration of the ramp trendline scan program. I'm going to get right into a scan and we'll be looking at charts very quickly. I'll come back later and we will take a look at how the inputs were filled out on this chart. For right now, I'd like to just say we will be looking at a bullish touch or bounce on trend lines, and we will be scanning 211 large cap stocks. I'll go ahead and start the scan. And you can see right off the bat it picked up Alcoa. While the scan is proceeding, I'll talk about some of the values that are displayed across the bottom of the chart. At the far left is the last price. This is simply the current or last trading price of the stock. Immediately next to that is the trendline value. This is the dollar value right on the trend line for the current bar. If you take the difference between the stock price and the trendline value, you will get your potential risk, assuming you were to put a stop right under the trend line. The next one across is Show Charts as Found. If I unclick this, the charts will stop appearing as the scan progresses. You can see here on the left the scan is continuing to progress, but I have stopped it from showing the charts. While the scan is running, I can now go in and look at any chart I like. For instance, here's Countrywide Credit. It's fallen back to a trend line, and it looks as though it might be respecting it. The center chart window has a MACD, and you can see a little divergence starting to form in the MACD chart. Up in the upper left you can see chart options, and we'll take a look at some of the chart options. Under chart options, I can change the chart type to a line chart, or I can do open, high, low, close. All of them work equally well. They're all dynamic during the scan. For the rest of our conversation, I'll stick with a candlestick chart, and I can display moving averages. These are the 5 and 34 moving averages which make up the MACD setting. I can change those moving average values by changing the setting on the MACD. I can request a white background. Some people prefer white backgrounds. They certainly work better for printing the charts. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the white background and moving average for now. You can also request a chart legend, and it will show you what each of the lines is on the chart. We won't use that right now. You can request a MACD price threshold line. This is a very interesting line, and I don't know that this has been ever introduced before, and it'll take a little bit of explanation. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that we can take a look at this. The MACD price threshold line is a line which the stock must close above for the MACD line, which in this case is the white line in the center screen, or in the center chart. The price must close above the MACD threshold in order for the MACD line to be pointed up, or a positive slope. If the price closes below the MACD threshold line, which is the white line in the upper price window, if it closes below it, the MACD line will be pointed down or negative. In our example here, Countrywide Credit, as long as the price stays above the red trend line, the MACD line will be pointed up. And note that through mathematics, you can actually calculate the MACD price threshold line several days into the future. Notice that a ramp price chart does not go all the way to the right. That is because the MACD threshold line can be accurately drawn several days into the future, in this case 5 days into the future. This can be extremely valuable for people who trade MACD, who don't want to be surprised by the MACD rolling over and changing direction on them. They'll have a very good idea several days into the future what is very likely. Also notice on the chart there are crosshairs so that you can move the crosshairs up and down and find support lines. For instance, the one right here that was broken several days ago. The price, the current price for your crosshairs you can see in the upper left hand corner, and it also works on MACD value and on volume as well. I'm going to go ahead and close the chart window now, and we will take a look at the settings, and maybe we'll do a breakout scan. I'll close this window. We'll scan the same stocks, and this time we'll look for breakouts, and I'll explain what the settings are. At the very top is days per bar. I'd like to scan 1 day per bar. I could actually scan weekly charts by, for instance, putting 5 in this window. I'll leave it at 1 day for right now. The allowed distance from the trend line in percent to be considered a touch. This is essentially how fat or fuzzy your trend line is, and 1.5% works very well. It's very much a middle-of-the-road value. The number of prior touches required to establish a trend line, I'll leave this at 2 prior touches. Now remember, we're going to do a breakout scan. And so I'm looking for a stock in this case that has come up against resistance and 2 times in the past and is now up for the 3rd time. So I'll leave that at 2. The required trend line length, minimum number of bars between first and last price touches. For this scan, I think I'll set that to a minimum. Maybe I'm looking for a very, very short-term breakout. We'll see what happens. The minimum length of the second largest distance between touches as a percent of the largest. I'm not going to go into this at length except to say this is a measure of disbursement of touches along the trend line. That is to say, you would like nice even distances between the touches. The higher this value, the more you will require the distances between the touches to be even. I'm going to set that at a minimum of 10 for this scan. Horizontal trend lines only. I think I will check that. I'm looking for a breakout through a horizontal resistance line. So if I check that, I will only see the horizontal or nearly horizontal lines. I'd like to find stocks that are breaking out on, for instance, this would be a high value as it is a resistance line. I'll leave that checked. I'm looking for the high of the day to have broken through a resistance line, and I would like to find them broken. If I check not broken, I would see stocks that had not quite broken through. Maybe you would want to do that if you were looking for potential breakouts. In this case, I want breakouts. I'm also going to ask that ramp look back, say 5 days. I would like to know if anything is broken out in the last 5 days to this criteria. And this, of course, would be a resistance line scan. And I will select Save All Settings. When I do that, these inputs are locked in, and when I exit the program and come back in, they will all be saved for me. I'll start the scan, and what we should see now are any of these 211 stocks that have broken through a resistance line in the last 5 trading days. We'll pick up this horizontal resistance breakout scan in process, and as the scan proceeds, I'd like to talk a little bit about the capabilities of the RAMP program. RAMP is not a trading system. It is simply a very, very powerful tool for you to find stocks that are bouncing on qualified trend lines, either bullish or bearish conditions, or breakouts. It's extremely versatile to match your trading style. It would be impossible in the few minutes of this demonstration to show all the capabilities of the RAMP program, and I encourage you to download the program from the internet and play with it. Use it on your own data and see the power of this very, very versatile program. To complete this demonstration, we'll take a look at a resistance line scan in process. In this particular scan, I asked for stocks that had reached a resistance line and are potentially bearish trading candidates. As this scan progresses, I would like to invite you to visit our website at www.nebadon.com and read more about the RAMP program. You can also download the RAMP program and run it on your own TC2000 Metastock or text data. You can request a free password from Nebadon to run the program on a trial basis for a few days and see how it works with your own trading system. Thank you, and please don't hesitate to contact Nebadon or call anytime if you have any questions.